All right, welcome back to the KnivesFAST channel, guys. We're out in the woods here, actually in my backyard. My house is right up there, but I got plenty of overgrown, unfortunately, woods back here that is perfect for what I'm about to show you. So I have had for some time a knife from a friend of mine that lives here in my town, Andy Smith. Andy brought me over this Glock field knife. This is the Glock 81 field knife, also known as the Austrian Army Survival Knife. Let's see if I can get this guy out of here so you can see it. This is a really cool knife. We'll give you some specs, and then we're actually going to do a little bit of cutting here and see what it does. I have, as you can see, it's scuffed up just slightly. I've already done a little bit of cutting, but what you're about to see is going to be done live or semi-live. And yeah, I'm sorry for the glare on the bald head here, guys. Not a whole lot I can do about that unless you guys know some way to grow hair real quick. But so this knife is really cool. I do like this polymer sheath and obviously the polymer handle. They call this the sand grit handle because it has, as you can see, kind of a gritty texture to it. And the way this sheath works, by the way, it has the drain hole on the bottom, is you lift this little lever up here and then it comes right out. The sheath also has a loop over belt clip. Let me drop the knife for a minute so I can show you this. This works like so. So yeah, you push against it. Oh boy, it's not the easiest thing to do. There we go. You just have to really force it out of that groove. But once you get it open, it works well to loop over your belt and then reattach. But again, it's not the easiest thing to get undone. But the actual retention of the knife inside the sheath is great because of this clip here. It is not going anywhere because of that. So let's focus on the knife now. As far as the handle, really, really nice. Just a great rounded grip on your hand. Nice guard here. The guard is made as a bayonet. I saw on the internet where somebody was touting this as a bottle opener. Guys, this is an attachment for a bayonet. Could you use it as a bottle opener? Absolutely. It's got a butt cap back here that you can take off. It's got a screw here, take that off, and it goes as a bayonet, which explains the fact that it's called the Austrian Army Survival Knife. Again, I don't know if you can see this. It's hard out here. It is the Glock 81 field knife. So I'm a little unfamiliar with some of the materials and different things, so I am going to read from my notes here a little bit, and I hope you guys are okay with that. This guy is the Glock FM81. Again, the Austrian Army Survival Knife. Got that sand grip. Now, the coating on that blade, it's a black coating, obviously. Oh, by the way, let's talk about the blade first. All I could find is that it is a high carbon spring steel. This guy, as you can see, I've got oil all over it. It needs to be coated or it will rust. That's just the way it is. It is a high carbon steel. I love that swedging down there. And then we'll talk about this Sawtooth guy here. Really thin blade. This knife is 7.13 ounces overall for an 11.4 inch long knife with a 6.5 inch blade. Again, they're calling this coating electrophoretic coating. And what I've found is that is a phosphate coating. I have already scratched it a little bit. We'll see how it comes out of this testing we're about to do. This guy is about $35 on Amazon in several different colors. I've seen it like a green and a tan. I don't know. There's several different ones. The black to me is cool. This Andy picked the right one. I think he has several of these. Again, 7.13 ounces, guys. That polymer handle and that really thin slicey blade make it really, really good for that. So let's just start with a little bit of shaving. Now, most of what I was able to find here without like going and hacking a tree up was really kind of old wood here. So this is gonna be very dry. So don't be surprised if I don't get like some really giant shavings here. because, well, although I did, because this wood is really dry. Let me see if I've got anything kind of green down here. I think I do. Well, no, this is super dry as well, but it's going to be sort of hard to feather stick this, but we're going to try anyway, just simply because, well, that's kind of the kind of testing I like to do on this kind of blade. So again, very, very dry wood. I am not going to blame this on the knife. It is a fairly sharp blade. I have found it to be much better at, just when I did some testing right over on the other side of the yard here, much better at hacking than it is at slicing, if you will. So again, it is biting into, let's see if I can get this where you can see it. There you go. You can see, if I get in that belly and really put my thumb up here, which is not the most comfortable thing in the world to do on this Sawtooth. So I'm basically using the Sawtooth as jimping. My finger's not going anywhere, but it may be a little irritated. But you can see there, I mean, that's pretty good. For very dry wood, it is definitely capable of doing the job. I've kind of got a stick sitting here. Let's see, can you still see me? Yes, you can. Hopefully you can still hear me. And we're gonna just hack at this piece a little bit and see what we get. Again, very dry wood. So we're just gonna see what happens here. And you can see, hopefully, we're kind of a ways out there. I'll bring it up to the camera in just a moment. But you can see where this guy is taking big chunks out of this. So yeah, I'm gonna bring this up where you can see it. Yeah. So again, it is a very slicey grind, nice and firm. Now, the back, as you can see, is thick. That is a nice thick piece, but it comes down to this slicey point. Also have a really good swedging here. And check that out, guys. I just hacked the ever-loving snot out of that with very little effort. And that's the same thing I had with my previous testing. Really, really good. I bet you this would also be, if you can get around this guard, it would be a pretty good camp knife. The guard would be a little tough because it'd be hard to sort of, you know, cut on a cutting board or something like that. But as you can see, I mean, it'll do work. Let's turn this around and do a little bit more here. Just because it's fun. Might as well do it because it's fun. So I'll come above this and hopefully it won't break. Trying to keep my hands out of the way. I feel a little bit like my buddy the Shredder right now out here. I need to do more of this type of stuff just because it's so much fun. So let's just see if this one leads. Oh, good grief. Look at that, guys. Super, super dry wood, as you can see, and I am just hacking hunks out of this one. A little bit more moist than what I had a minute ago, though. So you can see a very capable, very useful blade, I think. And again, now let's take a look at that coating. So the coating, well, it's kind of hard to say right now. I didn't bring a cloth down with me, so we're going to use. So yeah, it is kind of wearing at that coating just a little bit. You can kind of see right along in here and on this side. But I bet you when it's not, the black is not gone. It's not chunking it out in any way. So I think it's going to hold up pretty well. I'm just not really familiar with that coating. So really interesting knife. Sorry, I disappeared off the camera there for a minute. Just a really interesting knife. Andy, I'm so thankful you let me take a look at this guy. We'll do a little bit more feather sticking here just because I want to. And of course I screwed it up. So I'm going to turn it over and get to a clean spot. And again, please understand, very, very dry wood. Yeah, it's not going to work. I was just not able to find anything really green out here right now because without, just like I said, just start hacking at a bunch of trees and taking limbs off of them. But very, very capable. Like I said, that blade is 6.5 inches. Really good, really nicely done. knife, and you could definitely, as you can see, use this for a survival knife, for hacking off some wood and building a fire. So let's talk about one more thing, and let's talk about that saw blade. I almost forgot. So as much as I could see, guys, I think this is really not intended for sawing, and Andy and I talked about this, for sawing a limb in half or anything like that. So let's just do a little bit here, just because, I mean, if I don't show you, it's not great. But as you can see, it's just because of the way the teeth are. They're very aggressive. So could I cut through this? Absolutely. Would it take me half of my life? Maybe. But I mean, you see, I kind of got a decent groove going. So what Andy was saying and what I read was that this would be great for snares. So if you're, out setting a rabbit snare or animal snare of some sort, and you want to cut a notch in a piece of wood so that you can put your wire around it, I think it would work really, really well for that. You can see that notch I just cut in there. Really good. So overall, is this a replacement for a K-bar, fighting knife? No, it's not. It's not as thick. It's definitely not, but could it be an alternative on the budget side? Again, $35 on Amazon. Yeah, absolutely. I don't have any reason to believe that you guys would be disappointed if you got this. I would love to see Shredder get one of these and really do some testing on it. I think it would hold up well. It's not my knife, so I don't really want to, quote unquote, as Shredder would say, beat the snot out of it. But I have definitely what you saw here and more worked with it, and I would give this guy a passing grade as something to try out as a budget knife in the woods. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. A little longer review than I usually do, but again, I'm doing some actual hacking and things like that. Again, not super happy with the way it feather sticks. It is kind of big, but again, that might just be the wood that I have out here today. I did some feather sticking over there a few weeks ago and had a little better time with that. So overall, great knife. Check it out, and thank you, Andy, for sending this along. And guys, give me a like and some comments. Let me know what you think of it, and maybe some thoughts on this knife itself. And thanks so much for watching the KnivesFAST channel.